Zinn. It is Howard Zinn. I wouldn't have known. We just got that picture. I wouldn't have known what he actually looks like. But I've known who he is for a long time. If you don't know who he is, it means your school hasn't been warped by left-wing Marxist ideology just yet. But many, many schools around the country are. Thousands actually have incorporated Howard Zinn into their curriculum. Next slide. This is difficult. So what did he write? Can you click on this?
The United States of America, Complete History, Volume 1.
Is that it? No. I hate not having control.
Jesus. You want to read a real history book, read Howard Zinn's People's History of the United States. That book will fucking knock you on your ass.
Better than Chomsky's Manufacturing Consent. Do you think that's a good book?
That's good. So this is Good Will Hunting, right? Famous movie, before your time, really. But it's a good movie. I like it. But that's an interesting part. This didn't stand out to me at the time, right? I heard that. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't care. The movie was more about, how about them apples, right? Like, that's the only thing I remember from that movie. But that's the moment that Howard Zinn's book, People's History of the United States of America, really came into prominence. It's since sold maybe 2.5 million copies. It has been largely influential on American curriculum and the way that a lot of young people are viewing American history. So go to the next slide. This is the book, of course. Oh, thank you. Here we go. I have control. So here's the premise. America's bad. America is fundamentally racist. America is built on bad principles. America is an oppressor. The point of this, what is basically a false history, is to get you to view the West through a system of oppressors and victims. America itself, the idea of America being the oppressor, and the victims being literally everybody else, from Native Americans in the beginning, to slavery, to everything. And you can always view whatever you want through this lens. It starts with Columbus. That's how his history starts. And I had a great podcast recently. It's not out yet, but you should download all my podcasts. And we'll put this out around Columbus Day, because I interviewed a lady, a historian, that does a great debunking of Howard Zinn. Now, unfortunately, this is kind of the first time that we've seen anything written along these lines, but we're finally catching up to it. Notably, a lot can be debunked. Howard Zinn has a habit of not adhering to historical association standards of research, has a habit of not just taking things out of context, but outright lying and plagiarizing and using debunked research, putting into the parentheses things that Christopher Columbus never actually said in his own diaries to make him seem like this racist tyrant. So now it's easier to understand why we're having this debate every single year about Columbus Day, all right? Trying to call it Indigenous Peoples Day, trying to undermine the foundations and the beginnings of America, and more importantly, Western civilization. Howard Zinn is an avowed Marxist. He was part of the Communist Party. He, like many other communists, stopped being a card-carrying communist because their job at that point was to do the long march through the institutions. So they stopped calling themselves communists and instead started calling themselves professors. This is the reason I'm